Hi guys, welcome back. So there we have it, the All Blacks 19, South Africa 17. Incredibly tight finish to the game. Certainly a thrilling game, if not the highest quality game. Sets it up nicely for that return fixture. So let's get into it and let's pick out some of the themes that definitely came out. So at the beginning, a little bit of kick tennis. The All Blacks refusing to allow the line out to form, and as the game went on, we saw why that was, because the South African line-out is formidable and the defensive line-out are just amazing. So they keep the ball in hand for a sustained period. And finally, Taylor, who had a brilliant game, finds a gap. Good gas from Jordan to finish. What a great start. And it did kind of lead to the theme that South Africa are definitely vulnerable to the All Blacks running game, as most teams are. It's just as the game wore on, New Zealand kept dropping the ball in those attacks and it looked like it might not be enough. So anyway, 7-0, great start, but we get the immediate reply from South Africa. Faf de Klerk whacking up one of his massive box kicks into the 22, which they persisted with all game. Indeed, when they got into the 22, they did really nothing apart from putting up the kick. This time it works. Swirling ball. Bridge badly misjudges it. Fumbles. Nkosi, who's lightning quick, straight on it, gobbles it up, scores the try, but they don't get the conversion, which, proves important at the end, of course, those sorts of things. So 7-5, great start to the game. 8 minutes in, dangerous running phases from the All Blacks, but South Africa diffuse it with a brilliant jackal from Vermeulen. And throughout the game, South Africa's defence in the 22 was very good. They turned the ball over nicely. It looked like they were going to frustrate New Zealand enough to win the game. They get a penalty from that jackal, then they get a free kick, then they get another penalty from a silly Retallick block, and Retallick gave away some poor penalties in that first half. Pollard slots it, 7 points to 8, or 8 points to 7 if you like. South Africa go in the lead, and then Retallick again, another bad infringement at the ruck. They go ahead, 7 points to 11. So some poor errors from New Zealand there, some good defence from South Africa, pull the game right back in their favour. Okay, 16 minutes in, we get a 5-metre line-out maul from New Zealand, but an amazing counter-ruck from Khaleesi wins the ball. New Zealand fumble it. They relieve the pressure, and this really is a theme in the game. South Africa relieving the pressure really well. Good intensity from South Africa, and their scrum gets a penalty, and their scrum was on top, and their line-out was on top. Some certain things were going really well for South Africa, but like I said, when they get into the 22, definitely a lack of invention possibly cost them. New Zealand, they want to play from deep at every opportunity. Definitely danger. But, the intensity of the South African defence is impressive. So on 21 minutes, it shows again excellent clean break from Scott Barrett and Taylor. But D'Alande, amazing ruck spoiling work. Scrum free kick, they clear that pressure. Like I said, very good at doing that in the first half especially. It feels like quite a whistle-heavy game, lots of very technical infringements. If you were there watching it for the first time as a rugby fan, a new rugby fan, you might find it a bit bamboozling, to be honest. And another theme, New Zealand clearly had tried to select, I think, their best high ball back three. They knew it was coming. Jordie Barrett certainly stood up to that test very nicely, but Bridge struggled a little bit. Jordan, a few good touches, but again, didn't get into the game. So back three-wise, probably not the best game for the wingers. Something New Zealand are well known for. They might have to have a look at that. I'm not sure Bridge is, a top All Black winger. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Anyway, on 29 minutes, New Zealand attack. They're really moving the ball. They're finding all sorts of gaps, creating problems. They make plenty of ground, win a penalty this time, get back to 10 points to 11. And then, good period of pressure here for the All Blacks. More inventive interplay, getting into a rhythm, get the penalty, go to a 10-metre line out, 10-metre scrum. And it looks like there's a massive overlap out left, and I think they probably would have scored. Nkosi goes flying up. Deliberate knock-on, very clear deliberate knock-on, yellow card. They go ahead, 13 points to 11. At this point, I'll make a note that South Africa are refusing to run the ball in this good position when they're getting close to the 22. They are putting up the bombs, but Jordie Barrett is coming up trumps at the moment. Is this lack of ambition going to cost South Africa? I made a note at this point, and yeah, well, clearly it did in the end. Just before half-time, one of South Africa's many impressive line-out steals comes up to defuse another good New Zealand attack, and it finishes 13-11 at half-time, very finely balanced. It's very much a contrast. Can the running attack of New Zealand overcome the kicking and set-piece attack of South Africa? At the beginning of the second half, New Zealand clearly looking to up the pace, up the pressure, and they have a huge period of pressure on South Africa. 2 infringements from South Africa, get to a 5-metre line-out for New Zealand, but another line-out still for South Africa. But then they lose it back to New Zealand, and New Zealand lose it back to them 2 metres out. Then South Africa steal the ball by Diaga. They steal the ball. Then there's a line-out penalty. Diaga gives it away. Then a 5-metre line-out for New Zealand. They go for a very simple front ball maul, but it was too simple. The South Africans are too strong. They push it into touch. New Zealand get another 22-metre line-out, but South Africa win that again and clear. So a huge period of pressure for New Zealand, and South Africa hold out through good play and also a bit of bad execution from New Zealand. So I thought maybe that was a pretty big moment in the game. And South Africa go straight back upfield, get some good ball in hand in the New Zealand 22. I thought, what a big swing this would be. But of course, they put the big bomb up. They lose it, and surely I'm thinking here they've got another option. They've got great players. Do they have to just keep popping up the bomb every single time? It's flashbacks to the Lions series where the Lions did the same thing, and I was pulling my hair out. Obviously, I pulled it all out. Anyway, and I made a note, the New Zealand handling's not quite good enough. There's plenty of gaps. South Africa just running out of ambition in the 22. Who's going to come up trumps? I'm not sure. It very is finely balanced at the moment. 53 minutes, New Zealand sliced the South Africans apart again with a good running attack, but the final pass, again, not sticking. New Zealand probably should be ahead by now, they would be thinking. A few minutes later, South Africa get into some good running phases, actually keep the ball, although they don't get to the 22, but they win the penalty. It's in front of the post. They go ahead 13-14. New Zealand get into their running attack again, and no drops this time. They go through some phases. They earn a penalty, 16-14, so it's very much backwards and forwards. Goodness me, the lead in this game came backwards and forwards all the time. Mackenzie's on. New Zealand clearly looking to improve their attack a little bit, make that crucial breakthrough. And I also made a note that New Zealand, I think, are missing Aaron Smith. Not sure Perenara's quite as slick as he is. New Zealand, I think, will still have a few movements in their team. Not sure this is their strongest team at the moment. Obviously, Mwanga to come back in. Questions over the wingers. Maybe a more dangerous winger will come in the future. Maybe Caleb Clark will come back. Anyway, South Africa winning that set piece, and a huge maul on 65 minutes from South Africa. Just smashes up a big carry, gets them an easy penalty, slot it over nicely. 16-17, they're back in the lead. And South Africa here, 15 minutes to go, happy to slow the game down. New Zealand clearly desperate to speed it up, but they're a bit too sloppy to make it stick. 10 minutes to go. All Blacks, 22, line out. But once again, handling not good enough. It seems too frantic. Are they going to muck up their opportunity? And South Africa, a minute later, mince the New Zealand scrum. Good line out attack, but they lose the, good line out attack. They need 3 more points, I think, to win it. Into the 22, but of course, what do when they get into the 22? Up goes the high bomb. It bobbles around. Hack downfield, lose 60 metres. Surely, if they keep the ball, a little bit of ingenuity, they can win the game. They're good enough to do it. Comments below. 73 minutes, New Zealand's attack. Webber makes a clean break. Goodness me, there were loads of breaks from New Zealand in this game. But of course, they muck it up, fumble it and lose it. And South Africa comes storming back, and the game is breaking up here, getting end to end as New Zealand are desperate to win this game. 5 minutes to go. They get a 22-metre line-out, but of course, South Africa steal it. A fearsome line-out defence, and then it's a messy period of play. Tupai gets himself over the ball. He's just come on, wins that jackal penalty. Up steps Geordie Barrett. It's about 40 metres on the angle. Distance never a problem for Geordie Barrett, because when he kicks the ball, he literally murders the ball. And boom, he smashes it, sneaks inside the left-hand side post. They sneak ahead 19-17. And there's one final chance for South Africa. Pop up the high ball. Geordie Barrett again comes charging forward and takes a fantastic catch. Probably player of the match, Geordie Barrett. And South Africa have to play from their own half. They can't do it knock on. The game is over. 19-17. What a thriller. Like I said, the quality not quite there. New Zealand will be disappointed with their handling and also the pressure they came under at set piece time. They struggled a bit. South Africa, some really good set piece, some good defence, good mauling, but surely they've got more in attack from the quality of players they have. Either side probably would have deserved to win, and either side probably would have deserved to lose. But anyway, sets it up nicely. I hope for a little better quality in the second game. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you next time.